Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. We've got a lot to do today, and thankfully I've actually had a little bit of time to figure out what is going on. But dude, check this out. So many new toys to work with. We're only going to be focusing on these two in Bitwig 6 today, just because the absurd amount of things are immense between figuring this out, which I've done a pretty good job of getting to know this. It's very similar to the Oxy one, and then also working on some sound design within this. So if that seems interesting, then maybe we can get a sequence going in here, do some sound design on this, get it back into the DAW, and then just kind of do some crazy stuff. But yeah, we'll see kind of where things go, and I'm just going to have some fun. This is the Hapax from Scorp Instruments. They actually sent this to me, which is fucking awesome. Thank you so much, Scorp. It's a demo unit, and so I'm going to be making some content over this in the next coming weeks. I do still have the Oxy One sequencer. We will be doing a comparison between the two. I still love the Oxy One. It's fantastic. They're actually more similar than they are different, but I will be doing a comparison on how those operate against each other. But this is like the first like big unit that a company has sent me, and I just can't express enough gratitude that a company was willing to put some trust in me to do some cool content over. So we are going to primarily put a lot of focus on within this in itself. And I'll kind of just walk you through some of the features and all that, but expect a review, expect, you know, some things that I'd like to see improved, or, you know, some things that I like about it, some things that I don't like about it. And every single one of these devices, except for this one, because I already have a review on this, will, yeah, we'll have some information on it, because I don't know, man, it's been so nice I think I've reviewed everything that I have so far. Oh, and I had to send the Digitone to get repaired because the cable connector was loose for the power cord. And I was like, it's not that bad, but because it's under warranty, I might as well get it fixed. So, yeah, man, like I have a crazy, crazy complete studio setup now. Um, Before it was just a laptop. I was like, that's all I need. And then I technically don't need any of this, but it's so nice to have just physical things to open up and, get on with, and things that also aren't a keyboard. I no offense to anybody that plays keys and stuff, but yeah, it's not a keyboard. It's things that are going to translate to the kind of music that I like to make, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be musical. So yeah, if you're not familiar, this is the Hapax. It is a sequencer. It's very similar to the Oxy One, except it's much bigger. The biggest differences that I have found so far between this is that instead of having, like, they both have 32 sequences on here, and this is divided into two potentially separate projects that can have their own independent BPM. And two, with the Oxy One, the technicality of it having 32, it means that it has 32 lanes that you can put a sequence on, where this actually has full blown, if I go to patterns here, yeah, so full blown, whole range multi MIDI sequence stuff that you can do. Now you can transpose stuff on the other one, but I also think that this is just going to be a little bit easier to use because of how much bigger it is. And so you can kind of see compared, like these two are almost just as big. Like this is how big my hand is, I guess. And so this is a two-hander, just as this is a two-hander. The Oxy One sequencer is kind of a one-hander, but it's also portable. So more details on that later. So I'm going to set a project scale, and I'm going to go to algorithm here into steps. And there's a couple of things that we have here, and I can just hit generate, and that applied. I think this says mono on here, and I'm not sure if there's a way to change that. Can you all see that, by the way? Kind of, maybe. Hapax does Euclidean. I think the Oxy One does as well, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the Oxy One also has matricial and what's the other one called? Sorry, I moved the camera. Matricial and stochastic. And this has a bunch of other stuff that you can apply. So we have, as far as algorithms, we have just generate random, curve, which I don't know what that does. Oh, it looks like it just kind of goes up and down, as you can see here. We have symmetry, duplicate, time, keys. Yeah, it's where this will kind of create symmetry on here, which is kind of interesting. We've got shuffle. So this will kind of shuffle all the notes that you have if you have something that's pretty cool. But this isn't the only way to get stuff in here, just as from a random means. You also have, interestingly, 8 effects on here per, wait, hold on. You have 8 effects per sequencer, which is kind of nuts. So you've got all these different things here, from random to R-poly to chance to echo, Euclidean, filter, harmony, LFO, mono, output, random, register, scaler, shaper, and swing. It's pretty sick. Oh, you were asking if it does Euclidean. Yeah, so the Euclidean sequencer is right here. If I hit play, and then I think I actually need to go into the settings here to make sure that this is being sent in. So let me go into this. This is going to channel 3. We want that to go to channel 1. Input, and then I need to go to the settings here. MIDI, and go MIDI A on. No, it's in MIDI B. It's one of these. Oh, oops. We need to go MIDI out. My bad. Okay, MIDI in device. MIDI B. Maybe I had it right. If I go here and I set a channel on this. Okay, we're good. So one thing that I really like about this is that I can just transpose this like this. You can stretch this out with micro timing, which is kind of sick. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that you could do that. So you can kind of like squish this. And then within this, we can kind of figure out where that is. And it's the same thing with the sequencer on here to where if you hold a note, then it'll like latch onto it, if that makes sense. For someone who doesn't own hardware synths, do I think these type of sequencers can improve workflow creativity? Yes, I would absolutely like watch the Oxy One video that I have, because the thing is like a lot of people think about this as a means of, oh, I'm going to make music with this. And for me, this is a starting point. Which very quickly, by the way, we have one quick submission to play. I forgot about that. I'm really sorry. Sorry, this is getting there. I'm still kind of waking up. But Michael has a submission. There's only one, but let's go ahead and play that out. It's only 10 seconds. Nice. I already left him a comment, and there's that. If you guys want to submit your quick play spells, go ahead and do that. So yeah, this is a means to an end, because now that we have a sequence, what we can do with this is start to do sound design to it. And so if I have this playing, right, and I start to go in here and I start to do stuff with this, so let's get the delay in here. Go here, go this way. And what I'm doing right now is I'm recording everything, right? So with this, we could set a mod target and go here. Go to filter cutoff. And so now within all this stuff, we can start to do other things with this, and I can also process this with, you know, external effects like Beam. Then we can go into this and add other settings and whatnot to kind of change this out, you know? So we're back on the hardware section while I'm working on this. there's kind of this interplay between working on something up here, something up here, something here, and something here. And so now there's just kind of this interactivity that I'm working on to be able to kind of mess with all of this stuff. So we can try, I don't know, R poly, which kind of creates an arpeggiator out of this. Set that to random, set that to like +7, try to hit play again. I'm going to back off of the delay. I wish that there was a duck on this for the delay, but there's not, so. Nice. And so what I'm doing now, as you can see over at the top with the rainbow here, is anything that I find cool, you know what I mean? I'm going to pull that into rolling sampler and then just pull all this stuff out. And this is pretty much like my main workflow with how I do stuff. And the cool thing about it is that it kind of provides something to where you already have something musical to work with. And then as you're kind of going, you can change the sounds to your liking with what you're trying to do with whatever music thing you have. The other thing with this that's really important to mention is that this, just like the Oxy One sequencer, also has a fugue machine built into it. So as you can see, this says ping pong. I know that it's a little bit far away and you might have to squint your eyes, but right here, there's a directional thing. And so because of that, you can set this to random beat or random 1/16, and this will kind of jump around. And so what I mean by that is if we go back to the sequence here and we go here, let me put this way. You're going to notice that the timeline of this is going to jump around. Now, one thing that I'm still trying to figure out how to do is see if there is a way that I can make this slower, which I can do it on the BPM. But yeah, I'm curious as to whether or not the steps and stuff on here are, oops, I wanted to go second. BPM, scale, strength. Yeah, I did not consult the manual yet, so there is that. But if I do this, I go all. I mean, I suppose I can make this longer like this, but it would be nice if there was a way to, if I go all. Okay, so that's shift. That's transpose. All second. So this is the shift button. Mute. +1. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to do this. I just don't know. And I can also see that right here, there's this little box that says 1-to-1. Oh shit, sorry. No. What have I done? What have I done? I did a really stupid thing and I rigged my camera to, oh man, sorry guys. I rigged my camera to this, which I might have to fix here in a bit. Let's try that. There we go. And is that staying? Nope, it's moving. Yoink. Oh, there we go. That's not so bad. Fugue machine LFO speed from fast to slow. Well, there's that as well. So, where is this? There is a thing on here. Snapshot. called automation. And on the automation, you can add stuff like pitch bends or program change or effects R poly. I think this says plus. Yeah, so there's also LFOs built into this, which the Oxy one has as well. So you have to go second and then go to LFOs. And so you can turn these on to whatever. There's also random. And you can assign these to whatever you want. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you do this in the matrix. So we'll go effects. We go here. CC, bank, foot pedal, effects. We'll go back out of that. Maybe back this way. Trying to go clear. Sorry, I'm still working these out. But on this, you can go clear. There's a way to clear on there. I don't know how to get there though. Can I do this? Maybe with the arrows. So that would be cool if I can actually navigate this with the arrows, because that would be super handy. But I can't seem to figure out how to get there. But I'm pretty sure that there's a way to get LFOs on here. Project LFO A. There we go. And so once we have that, then we can set the destination to pretty much all this other stuff. But it doesn't look like you can change the speed of that or whatever. There's the depth. There's the polarity. It only looks like plus or plus and minus. Consume. You can set the offset of this. So there is a matrix on here that does allow you to kind of mess with all that, which is pretty nice. Oh no, this moved again. I had it so perfect, and then I had to go and move the thing because I'm used to that. But also, this was sticking. Oh. Stick. Stay. There we go. Now I will adjust this. There we go. Is that okay? It's a little bit closer now, but actually, nah, man. If you're gonna do it right. Everyone, just remind me not to move the fucking thing. All right, a little bit further out. It's so annoying because when I adjust this, I'll stop it where it wants to be, but then it readjusts itself whenever I let go, and I'm like, God damn it. So yeah, again, you can stack other effects on here. So we have stuff like chance, which I haven't messed with all of this stuff. 1/8 chance, percent, sync bar, 1/4, sync chance. I don't know what this means. It just looks like noise. We've got other stuff like the echo. So this is kind of like a note echo. That's pretty wild. Go back to the pattern here and add a different wavetable to this. Can layer this with a resonator. And an exciter. So this is going to be great for drums. And then we can get stuff like this, which is pretty nice. So changing this and kind of messing with all of the other effects that are on here is kind of part of it, right? We also have stuff like... You can set this to key tracking. Which is super convenient. And that goes into the effects here. Yeah, so some shortcuts that I'd like to see if they're available are pitching everything by an octave or switching that up. Which, can I do that from the project? No. 16th PC. What does that say? MSB. Oh, I think that's what this is. Maybe. No, it's not. So this will lower or raise the octave. But I don't know what these divisions and stuff do. Yeah, it's pretty sick though. So some other stuff that we have on this, as regards to the other effects, are some scales, or a scaler, which is kind of cool. Where is that? We also have this shaper, which is insane. This is like one of those things that like you can create a shaper for pitch, which is nuts. There's pitch bend, aftertouch, CC. I like the keys the best because that's the most interesting. Oh, you can flip the polarity, which is crazy. So this is actually really cool. Because I'm gonna go to the global here and go to pitch and set this to -12. Go to the effects here. Turn on the drive. Go back to oscillator 1. Again, I'm just trying to see if there's... What happens if I hit all shift second? Nope. It's interesting that this jumps from 2% to 40% to 50%. It's a silly sequence. Cool. So that was very silly as a means of the actual matter, but if we can get into something, maybe let's go into Phrygian, let's go into E flat, turn the scale on, and then pitch quantize, time signature, algorithm. This says mono. So is there a way to... set that to E flat too? I'm curious as to whether or not you can set this on here with a different... Set this on here to where it'll also lay out chords. Hey, Pax is mad fun, better than push. I did sequence hardware and VST with it. This has built-in latency compensation, totally cool. Does it really? Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm hitting play on the DAW, and that's firing off immediately. So that was one thing that I was running into with the Oxy One, is I don't think that it had latency compensation. Maybe it did. I don't really know. Since you're somebody that has one, is there a way to change the density to poly? Generate. Try that again. And then also the density on here. Like, where does this lay out from? Wait, so how did I do that from before? Oh, that's a navigational tool. That's interesting. Okay, so you can kind of like zoom in, which is interesting. All this stuff is pretty dumb so far, but I'm still having fun. I think that's the big thing with this is just kind of getting used to figuring out how all this stuff works. I've also realized that there's, I think if I, so that'll actually play a pitch for you. If you hold step, you can go from poly to MPE to drum mode, which we're going to take a look at here in a bit. But yeah, that's super interesting. There's a couple of key things again that I'm trying to figure out. Like one interesting thing is that 16 says transpose on it and the other ones do not. I'm not sure if that's a unique thing or what, but that's kind of interesting. You can hold these guys that will select a row, which is super convenient. That's pretty dope. Then on the settings here, I don't really think that I need to mess with the settings, to be honest. BPM. Is there a second option for the BPM? Yeah, there's tap. So that's cool. You can tap that out. There's also the elasticity here that if you hit the encoder, then you can do that. There's a thing here that you can assign your macros to. Hey, Danny, what's up? Which is kind of nice. I wish that the encoders were smooth encoders. The same thing with this. These are clicky. I do prefer just like rotary, I think is what they're called. But it's not terrible. You have a song mode. Then you have a live mode. I think that there's also a way to do a step mode on here. Did that record into that? No. So what happens if I hit second record? No. I'm pretty sure that there's a step input mode. All delete. So we can clear the pattern like that if we want to. It's nice. It's not velocity sensitive, if anybody was wondering, but I don't really care about that. I usually am just trying to get the stuff in there. You can also modulate the velocity while you're playing this, so... Although it doesn't look like the velocity control is matching to this, but that's not that big of a deal. I think the other thing as well is that we can have this go to multiple destinations. Maybe. Need to see what's going on here. Okay, so that's not sending MIDI. So that's something that I can figure out later, just because I think that I might have to go back into the settings and just make sure that all of this stuff is turned on. Device, host. Like, is there a thing that says host to device? Yeah, it says device to host. That's turned on. Hopefully this doesn't break this. Let's see if that works. So this is playing through this, which is coming through here, but it's not actually sending messages yet. So maybe I need to hold this and go output, channel 2, channel 1, input, channel 1. So this is outputting MIDI to the channels. But I'm not seeing any settings on here that is... Oh, I see. Okay, so this controller here is not sending... the controller itself is not sending MIDI stuff, because this is only going in MIDI input. Hey, GB, long time no see. So yeah, I'll figure that out later. That's not going to be that big of a deal. Or maybe it will be. Yeah, I do. But it's facing me, honey. It's kind of cool that if you play simple chords, it'll actually mention this. See that? C sharp 7, suspended 4th, minor, or 3rd. A flat 11, add a 3rd. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Is there a shift in the live mode? MIDI in, MIDI out. I don't know what this means. Everything is new. Everything that I'm touching right now is brand new. That's why I'm a little slow. So we're just kind of getting into learning everything as of now and trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, I know, right? It's actually pretty cool. So something else that's interesting with this is on this, you can actually type in text to speech for making wavetables, which is pretty cool. So let me switch over here real fast. So if I hit return on here, now whenever we look at this wavetable, if we go to the 3D mode, and I can go to the live. I moved way too fast. Set this to maybe a one shot. Let me turn this down so that way we actually can hear what's going on. Isn't that cool? And add effects to this. Which is pretty dope. Oh, right. I think that there is a, right, there's a comb filter on here, so we can look at some of the other stuff that's on here. It's actually pretty dope. Dum, 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 dun, dun. That would actually be a really sick bass line. I'm still like trying to figure out how to master like getting this to do the things that I want it to as a means of getting it to sing and getting it to like really open up and express itself in the ways that I would want to use musically. But even if it just sounds interesting, I'm still kind of just pulling it out because I can always do stuff to it later. And that's kind of the fun of it. There's some other things with the Waldorf that you can do for making your own wavetables, but there's also your own stuff in here that you can set as a preset. Like I've got some of these other wavetables here that are. The other thing that I haven't really, excuse me, had a lot of time to dive into yet is the kernels mode, which is the FM synth. This thing is quite a beast. Set something like this. We'll do this here. We'll go back to kernel 1. And then I think what I want to do is mod. So kernel 1 is feeding into kernel 2. So kernel 1 needs to have no level. Kernel 2 needs to have a level. Now we can modulate kernel 1 into kernel 2, I think. So there's true FM on this, but how do I set the amount? Level scale, out.
Are you hungry?
Yeah, I could eat, but I'm gonna probably be working.
I'm at a burger.
Okay.
With some meat.
Hey. Look at all this stuff.
What?
All this stuff.
Hi guys, welcome to Fridays, the Alchemy House. Oh,
Alchemy.
Saturday. Shit, it's Saturday.
It is Saturday.
I'm making some eggs and pancakes. Do you want some?
I'm good for now, baby. Thank you though.
What about just scrambled eggs?
I'm good for now. Thank you though. I'll eat a little bit later. Thank you. Okay, so I think what you have to do is you set a level on this, but then you have to set something like this in order to get this to. Yeah, okay. All right, we're figuring it out. So here's the mod type. We can set the ratio in here. Yeah, like I can already tell this thing is going to be insane whenever I figure. Cool, let's keep going. Let's get back to the oscillator. 1, 2, 3. So we can turn kernel 3 on. Actually, on kernel 2, set the envelope here. Switch K. Set the level down, down, down. And on this, we can turn this on. Exit? Oh, no. Kernel 2, that's going out. Kernel 3, that's going out. So why is this stack now? Oh, that's because we need to set the source to kernel 2. Oh, shit. Well, I've only had this for about 6 hours, or maybe, well, like half a day rather. So I'm still kind of figuring that out. They're both very similar, but I will have a review later over what I think about all of that. Sorry. Sick. So we've also so yeah, this is pretty much a 6 operator FM, which is kind of fucking crazy. Turn that down all the way. Go mod. We'll send K3 into 4. And set that to ring mod or wavetable position. Sorry, just getting used to how all this stuff works. You can show them if you want.
You said show it?
Oh, you can show it here too.
Show it. Oh.
Very risky business for you to put that over that though.
And this is what is it called? Vintage Japanese china.
Japanese china?
It's from Japan. This is...
Oh. Hey, Iridium is so cool. I love the Quantum, and if I had the bread, I'd buy an Iridium core. So I did pay for the Iridium core. I did not pay for the Hapax, so I'm kind of just taking my time to get to learn it. I know, right? Oh, breakfast over the big bank setup. I think if she would have dropped that, I would have lost my shit. She's pretty trustworthy though. Yeah, I really enjoyed the core. I'm still getting to learn it and all of that. Which is kind of just part of it, but what does this mean? Oh, you can loop this. That's cool. Yeah, I would have been pretty hot too. So, yeah, with the kernels mode, it's freaking sick because like you can set up your own routing, and it's kind of strange how it does this because it goes from K1 to K2 to K3 like downward. But the thing about it is that it's a freely routable matrix. The one downside to the Iridium core that I would say is like it's not that big of a downside. I just wish that you could import your own wavetables. So it has a bunch of factory wavetables that you can do, but there's not really a way that I know that you can hack into it and like insert your own stuff, which kind of sucks. Excuse me. That being said, it's still kind of dope to be able to have a bunch of other different wavetables that you can. Scorp sending out a lot of Hapaxes to folks, which I love that you got it too. Yeah, man. Like dude, big ups to Hapax. I didn't know that they were so. They were extremely generous to send this to me. They didn't say that I could keep it, so I have some work cut out for me for having a chance to kind of do all this stuff and, you know, make some cool content. But that's kind of why we're here, is I'm just having a good time, just messing around with some stuff and trying to get my workaround to it. The thing is like the Hapax and the Oxy One are incredibly similar. Where they differ is just like a couple of like effect modes or like a couple of like sequence modes as well. They both do the most important thing, which is they can lay down MIDI and they can micro time. That is like, if I just have that, that's I'm usually pretty cool. But the other thing is, while there's matricial and stochastic mode inside of the Oxy One, there is all of these effects that you have on the Squarp. Excuse me, on the Hapax, and so I'm still kind of getting my way around it and trying to work on the sequencing part of this. But because I'm learning so many things at once, like never mind the fact that I've also had to learn this. I've also had to learn the microcosm. I've also relearned how to work with the Bitwig Connect. Bitwig 6 just came out. I've been doing a pretty good job keeping up with everything, but it's been a lot, needless to say. So I've kind of just been trying to do a little bit here, do a little bit there, and not get overwhelmed. And it takes away from making actual music and stuff, but it also doesn't, because I realize that while I'm learning this stuff, if I do anything cool, I'm just recording it out. And I can always come back to whatever cool sounds I make and be like, all right, let's turn this into an idea. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I feel about it. All right, Squeak, you got to get down. I love you, but get down. I just took you. I just took her. She's like, but Dad, the squirrels and the cats and the other things are not going to do anything themselves. So what are you, what are you doing? Okay, so there's a way to, I think if I turn all of these off as well, so it looks like you can run these in parallel, which is really cool. So on this with the 5, we can set that to a long decay. It'd be nice if there was curves on these, but that's okay. But coming into the patch, oh, solo? No. Is there a way to run these in parallel as well, to where they all have an output? Or is there not a way to do that? Level, envelope, wave, level. Mod type. Yeah, so as you can see, these are all kind of going out in that way. But now, fuck, sorry. Waldorf drop an import wavetable function, and they will have a classic for real. Yeah, I agree. Like, well, they do have a wavetable import, but not on kernels mode, and that's kind of the thing. They do have, and you can make your own wavetables, but they don't have a harmonic series maker, which I think that they should, especially considering that they have the resonator mode. So I'm just like, why don't you give us the option to just design wavetables like a regular wavetable designer and do all that? But I'm going to mention all that in the review as I'm learning this. But I also want to make sure that whenever I demo this, I'm going to make some pretty cool sounds. And so, yeah, there's kind of that. It's really interesting that there's a big emphasis on the waveform design, or on the engine design, on the sound source design of this, as opposed to the other stuff. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to consider. Now, I am curious though. Yeah, is there a way to? Because right now all of this is going in serial, but is there a way to run a parallel level? No. I'm so sorry, guys. I gotta get used to not moving the mic. I always like to adjust it as a bad habit. Low split, velocity depth, envelope, mod. It also has self feedback, which is really cool. But yeah, is there a way to just send this out to its own thing? Initial to single, initial to all out. Um, K4. So it doesn't look like you can... I guess you can pick one or the other, is what this is looking like to me. But it also looks like K3 is the main output. So the patch itself is a little bit confusing because it looks like it goes from K1 to K2 to K3 to K4 to K5. But then it goes into the output. But you see, like, this representation of this is kind of confusing because it looks almost like it's going back up to K3 and then pushing its way out. Oh, that's true. That K5 is actually not being... So we need to set this to K4. But if you look at this, you can actually see how you can change like up to 3 different things on here. So you can have these all feedbacking into each other and just create some absurd shit. Which, to be honest with you, it's kind of overkill. I just like having the options. But yeah, kind of like what I said as well, it looks like you can only decide whether or not you want this to go into the output or if you want it to just be direct. Because if I go to K1, like that's a really heavy sound. It's pretty cool. But if I go solo, I guess that just solos it to where it's... Yeah, so I'm guessing that this does not have a parallel out with an FM synth. So I think the kernels, and maybe that's why it's called kernels, is because you can send everything into a single output, but you can't have multiple outputs. And if you want to do that, then you need to change the layers. To be honest with you, this makes sense because if I wanted to have multiple layers, then I can have essentially 3 different kernels on here. It's good to know, but you know what I mean? Like, go to the patch here though. Now, what is this stuff? So let me go back to oscillator 1, and then let me go to the patch. Go exit. You can set top. Okay, so you cycle through this stuff. You can change the slot. You can change the destination. Wavetable position. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is performance stuff. So is the ratio on here? Yeah, that's a pretty complex thing. Pitch, frequency offset. Can you not change the FM amount? Or rather, it looks like you can, but... Slot 2, 3, 4. You can have up to 6 different slots. So that way when you go back to the patch itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So where's the 6th? It's pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of shit. I mean, if we were to really just spend some time with this. We go into the editing here and we just like mess with the envelopes. Sorry. Can you set a mod on these? That's dope. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like all that. So go back here and maybe try to create something with this. Set the density up. Still getting used to trying to figure this out with how this applies, because I generated something. now let's go to the effects, see what else we can throw over this. I actually don't know what register does. I looked on the internet with what the new effects do, but there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm like, wait, what is this? What does this even do? So I don't know how to use it quite yet. That being said, there's some other stuff in here. There is the harmonizer, which is really cool. So we can set some stuff like this. Origin on. So you can create a chord, basically. That's pretty cool. There's also another thing on here that I wanted to look at. Which, there's this like really cool chord mode on here. I gotta figure out how to work that though. So it's on here. Step, drum, pattern, live. Yeah, so you can play the chord mode like this, but this isn't the chord mode that I was talking about. There's this, like, it's kind of like harmonizer from the from the Oxy. But I don't remember how to access it. Per scale, stick. There's also a thing on here that's like chord transpose. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do in here. I just don't remember all of them. I'll have to go back and watch some of that. We've got the LFO here. We've got the step. Yeah. And maybe that's something that we can do. I will come to this. We're going to mute this guy. And hold this down. And then we're going to set this output to A, channel 2. This one will be drum. So now we've got this drum mode that we can kind of create stuff with, which is cool. It's also kind of nice that, like, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's names here. And so it labels it as an 8-part drum thing that you can throw on here. So one thing that I will need to do is I need to get a drum rack in here. And the other thing that I need to do is figure out how to get MIDI in here. Generic. I might just need to do a generic. Maybe Driven by Moss has one on here. controller, flexi, gamepad, keyboard. Yeah, this is set as a generic controller, so on this guy, I might need to get rid of this. Oops. Add controller. Flexi. Apex. Apex. I don't know what that means. But I think with this is what I'm looking for. Okay, the Apex is turned on. And so let me see if I'm getting MIDI now. I'm not getting MIDI. Controllers. Generic controller. What does this mean? Paints rectangle around the focus. Oh, I see. So this means that you can assign colors and stuff to this. I don't know what slot means, but okay. Mm, no, I just want this to be able to play notes. It's weird because I have gotten this to this will transport, as you can see. But this isn't sending any MIDI out. Which on here. Oh, maybe I need to do that to the sync as well. Okay. Let me see if this does it. So what I'm doing is just setting this to see if the clock and transport is going on this. But now with the MIDI, accept notes, ignore, record only, accept. Now where's the send? That's MIDI input. It's latency compensation. Split bars, mute group, unison. Oh, okay. So we have a sync in and then we have a sync out. Okay. Send. All right. It looks like I've set everything up that's supposed to be doing that. So sync in. USB device. MIDI start stop on any input. Clock source. USB host. Is anything sending MIDI on this? Nope, nothing is sending MIDI on this. Sorry, guys. I know this isn't fun. I'm working on it. Okay. Miscellaneous. MIDI monitor. All messages. Step note preview. Apply sustain. Auto load. Bless you. Bless you. Love you too. Huh. I'm stumped. I don't know what to do. Wait, is there a MIDI output? MIDI through. It says host device. Okay, all this stuff is on, so device, host. But I don't see anything that says I don't see anything that says MIDI to host. And it's just on or off. Output, channel 2. It says 4 on this. What does that mean? Maybe input, channel 1? See if that will send. Nope. Not getting any MIDI. Okay. We're going to have to do the drum thing another time. Getting that to work with with the DAW is something else that we'll have to kind of figure out how to set up. But it's not the end of the world. The other thing too is I could just send a MIDI cable through this, but there should be just a way with this to do it over USB, which is kind of, what can you say? But even still, I will say like the big appeal to this stuff is doing it basically with using this, like this is the MIDI controller for this, which is pretty nice. Oh shit. Okay. What was the transport thing? MIDI monitor, all messages. Two point two. How do I go back? Delete. Well, oh, that's cool. You can customize that. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. Anti flicker. Just getting down and dirty and all this. All this says clock plus transport. Okay, so that's set to auto. CV play enable. Clock in, out division. I don't know what that means. On any input. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. So, lots of stuff to figure out. Dope. Does anybody have any questions about anything so far? There's like two mysteries with this that I still need to figure out. I need to figure out how to get this to play at a slower rate if I wanted it to, and B, figure out how, well, there's a lot of stuff on this that I need to figure out now that I think about it, but I need to figure out how to get this to transport message or to send messages to the DAW without using the interface. Then I need to figure out just the algorithm with the way that this paints and stuff. And also whether or not, because I could have sworn that there was a thing on here or like a setting that says density, it's in mono.
I could have sworn that there was a thing that you could do on this where you could change it to be poly. But I'm almost wondering if it's dependent of that. So I figured out most of the stuff on here, which is cool. Poly, drum, just a single thing, automation, chord mode, live scale mode, master scale. Oh, right. There was also this other chord companion thing that would transpose everything, which I thought was really cool. So let me see if that's here. Transpose. Match chord. There we go. So with the match chord, we have to tell it to go somewhere else though, right? So you've got other chants and stuff here, which is cool. Oh, okay, so there's the octave transposition. Sick. But what is this? Ah, that's the speed. I think. Oh, this is the note length. Okay. This is shifting everything. Offer on grid. Mono edit. Does it respect the scale? It's pretty dope. Now, there's got to be a way to do this. Okay, these two are flashing. What does this mean? Okay, that's the long press. Trig restart. Trig free. Oh, on play versus just letting it run. Okay, so does this mean that it's going to play back faster? No, it means that you can have 512 steps, which is nuts. So I guess the only way to do this is to change the track elasticity. But is there not a way that like you can divide or whatever? Or like half the length or double the length? Let me see if we can find it on this. Which, sorry, by the way. Change the length, hold second, plus or minus to double or half the track length. Double or half the track length. Oh. Okay, so second and that. Okay, there is a thing. Oh, no, that's not what we're looking for. Pattern. How to change apex. Double step length. You can use the second plus step modes to duplicate all events in the current page while doubling the pattern length, or hold down the length and color to scroll 16th increments. The length and color. Apex. Change pattern speed. Slower. Apex change beat division. Beat division speed. So it looks like the only way to do this is by changing the elasticity. Change beat division speed. Beat division, maybe. Pattern program, divisions per track. Current firmware, you can only set this. Can load 2 projects simultaneously.
The nose is back.
You were able to sew it back on? Good job, babe. Yeah, tell her no. Be firm with that. Yeah, so it looks like the only way that we can manipulate this is by grabbing the elasticity here and changing this into 50% or something of the sort. So doing something like that. Oh, but you can only change this to... You'd only change this to half? Hmm. That's interesting. Output? What is this? Oh, is this what I need to get this to send out shit? No, that's still not sending anything out. But there might be something to this. It says swing. Groove. Okay. Let's see if there's some other effects on here that might change this into a different beat division. With the new global key feature in 6, how does Bitwig handle MIDI inputs that fall outside the chosen key scale? Does it quantize it or let it fly? No. So with any of the global stuff, it only will follow whatever is in the piano roll or what is within the company devices or the accompanying devices. So let's say I have an instrument here, right? Let's go FM4. It's a good question. Right now, this is on D sharp Phrygian. But if I play this chromatically, it'll obey that. But if I record something in here, right? Then if I come in here, I can highlight all these notes and go boom. There should be a thing that says content scaling, no, quantize to key. There we go. And so what this did is it just moved everything into key on this. And so that's kind of how that works. Notice a function that lets you choose whether to move the note up or down. I forgot where it was. Is that not in the settings? So we hit undo, right click, quantize the key. There's quantize the key again. Expressions. Always down because we want to be heavy as fuck. Yeah, I know, right? Sorry if today's stream is kind of boring, everybody. I'm just, again, trying to have fun and figure this stuff out and, you know, make cool things and whatnot. In the upper left, maybe one of the inspector windows. I'm looking at this. I don't see anything. I'll find it. I don't mind looking either. Maybe it's in play or something. Latch, touch, right. Wait, if I turn this on and I do this. Oh, man. I guess, yeah. I'm most likely going to make a video about some of the regressions. Like, not new stuff, but some of the regressions that I would like to see changed. Like, the latch thing is a big one. The divisions on here, I don't like this. Because yeah, I like the original thing better. To where you can just have the box scaler. Global automation lock, editing tool pointer. Snap to other events. Snap to B grid, snap to original event. I think I want all of those on. Time snapping. Follow playhead. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you can detect what the pitch is, then you can't really go wrong, you know? Overdub while playing launcher clips. Automation lock. Yeah, I don't see anything personally. I wouldn't know where to find it. Could be in a different section. Yeah, no worries. Oh, there's a stereo spread on that. That's interesting. It doesn't look like there's a way to this formant filter, is it... Can you not shift this? Doesn't look like you can. So what happened there? Was it deleted or? Well, it still says it's firing. Oh, maybe it's too high. No. It says that there's MIDI on here. And this is triggering. What did I just do? Huh. Now, what does this mean? Oh, 3, 4. Okay. Well, that kind of played at first. Yeah, nothing is really playing now. What happened there? Oh no, this is off. Yeah, interesting.
Um, cool. So let me save this. No, get down, Jersey.
She took one look at me and was like,
I need to be in dad's lap. Um, which I love that she does that, but sometimes I don't want her on me. You can go exit, presets, save. I should probably save this as something, especially if I want to put out a preset bank. Bella, return, and save. Cool. So these are some templates, which I think are custom like setup things or whatever. But I wonder if I change this. Down, 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 down. Bells. Okay, I see. Yeah, so those templates are just like factory presets, whereas this is my own. This is my own bank of stuff. And then it looks like you can export and import. I wonder how much of a pain this is going to be whenever if I were to like create like a preset pack or something over this. All right, let's do a new sound. Or rather, I'm going to go new. Are you sure? Yes. We'll set a key on here. We'll go D minor, Phrygian, Japanese. Yeah, we can do Spanish. Is there equivalent like another name for Phrygian dominant? Pitch quantize, transpose, max chord, match chord. All right, let's go here. Let's go initialize.
So it looks like if you have a wavetable, the only way to get sync into this is to, or sorry, unison into this is to go master or maybe global control. Maybe it is master. Timbre mode, single, bass boost off, voices, unison, 2, detune. That's dope. I think Spanish Gypsy's on there. Sick. That's pretty dope. I think the best way to find this is to go oscillator or filters, modulations. Go to matrix, filter to cutoff. LFO1. And on this, we can set this one to a high pass. Wonder if there's a way to um hmm. Yeah, I'm curious if there is a way to do this to where there's a high pass, a low pass, and a notch. I guess I guess what I could do is two two band passes. No, Ultra Phrygian is not an option. So there is, let me see. In the minor scale, there's Dorian, Aeolian, Phrygian, Japanese, Spanish, pentatonic, Pentadorian, pentapelog, blues, Romanian, gypsy flat 7. Maybe that's Phrygian dominant. Did you mention that? Spanish gypsy scale. Havraba, flat 9, flat 13th, Mixolydian flat 9, flat 13th, and Hejaz. It's probably on here. It's just probably got a different name. Hawaiian, melodic, harmonic, diminished, gypsy, Mixolydian, Arab 7th, blues, pentatonic major, pentatonic sharp 4th, I think. Pentatonic sharp something. Lydian, melodic major, Phrygian. Oh, Phrygian dominant. Oh, dude, it's right there. Duh. So it's categorized into these guys, which you have major, minor, dominant, suspended, half, diminished. I don't know what mess is. Initial, major third, fourth, fifth octave. What is this? Hey, babe, are you up? I'll ask her because I've never heard of that before. Yeah, so it's there. It's in just the it's in the dominant. Cool. I was like, this is really not a scale. A mess of a chord. Well, I'm also kind of curious because there was the Japanese scale on there, but is that only in major and minor? Dorian flat second, half diminished. There is ultra A lock. What does that mean? Romanian minor? That's probably actually cool. Diminished half tone is a mode of double harmonic. Diminished. I don't know if double harmonic is on here. Second scale. Fourth scale, first mode. Minor third, major third, fourth, octave. Minor. Then major. Arab, pentatonic. Pentatonic major. Augmented. Harmonic major. Major. So there's quite a bit of scales in here, but I think one thing that I would like to see is there's the Japanese scale in here, but within the Japanese scale there's the there's Hirojoshi and then there's Iwado, right? But what is the difference between the Japanese scales? I'm curious. Which that or Hungarian minor is double harmonic minor? Okay. Hirajoshi contains the root, major second, minor third. Insen is the root, minor second, perfect fourth, perfect fifth. Yeah, I was right. Iwato. The Ryu and Ritsu scales. So a 7-tone scale. I wonder how come you don't see those. Well, maybe those are just different names in the Western thing or whatever, but that's kind of interesting. I probably feel like I feel like there's probably some overlap with those. Yeah, there's a gypsy minor. Oh, that says Ritu Sen. I think Ritsu Sen is another Japanese scale. Dorian flat second, half diminished, Locrian. Yeah, Gypsy minor is there. Diminished half tone, Romanian minor. Blues heptato. Let me go to this. That's pretty cool, actually. also pretty cool. Maybe get to something that's Locrian flat. What is double flat third? That's definitely all the black keys. Also, this patch is a little abrasive. It would be nice if I could like long hold and clear the glass. Clear this out. Can I just initial the layer? Arrow. I think Corey explained that to me one time, and I was just like, well, why not just label it as like an entire interval? That's definitely... Yeah, so maybe these quote unquote Japanese scales are just overlaps of other Western things and they're named differently. That's kind of what I'm getting out of this. Sorry. Something something convention something something. Yeah, basically. Cool. Let's see what this is. It's actually pretty sick. Where's that? That recording. There we go. This sample pack is going to be really cool. Does it have aftertouch and velocity? It does have aftertouch, but it doesn't have the pads aren't velocity sensitive. But you can change the velocity on these. So if we get out of this and you hold a button, you'll see that the velocity is here. Oh, we're in play mode. My bad. So if you hold this, here's the velocity. Yeah, aftertouch is cool. I think, yeah, the interesting thing about this is I'm a little bit surprised that the divisions on here and stuff only jump by 2%, so which means that you can only really move stuff by, well, a much smaller amount. But I think that was something that I complained about. Oh, maybe. Hold on one sec. Toss this on here. You can find out right now. Yeah, so the offset on this also only goes up to 45%. But one of the major differences behind this is that on this, on the offset here, on the micro timing. Oh, does it just scale? Is that the increments of this are by 2. More gear. Metal Gear. So is there a way that you can change the increments of this by 1%? Because I find that to be kind of strange that you can only move that. I'm glad that it has micro timing, but like the timing does matter on that. Dirty Sponge. Let me go and save this very quickly. Oh no, that swapped out the patch entirely. What's wrong, babe? Oh no.
What is that? What is that? Was that you? Was was this you? What is this? Sir.
It doesn't smell though. It must be really old.
Oh. Well. Yeah, maybe you should get a net for your stuffed animals. Was that you? Did you pee in there? Why'd you do that? No. 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 Was that you? Go lay down. Go on. Go. Go. Go on. So good to see A/B testing of Apex and Oxy. Yeah, I'm gonna have a dedicated review. Still late to the stream. Have to rewatch later. How do I like the Apex so far? There's a lot of learning to do with it. I'm trying to like shoot out all of the differences between the two as of now. But I think the Apex is pretty cool. I'm still trying to get my head around just coming up with cool sequences and stuff. And then also I haven't figured out how to get the Apex to work with Bitwig yet. For whatever reason, this isn't sending MIDI out. So I've tried like sending it as an effect out to an output and all that other stuff, but I haven't been able to get it to work. So that's why I'm just sticking with the Iridium for now. But yeah, I will have a dedicated review on this, and then I'll have another video that will compare the two, because I think that would be a really good video to just talk about. But I have the Oxy 1. At some point, I'm going to get an Oxy 2. So maybe what I could do is compare the Oxy 1 with the Apex, as that would seem more fair anyways. And then I can compare everything with the Oxy 2. I would say like they are way more similar than they are different. If you want just my initial thoughts, they're way more similar than they're different in the sense of like, you know, place your steps, right? Do whatever. But there's different modes on each of them that kind of complement each other in a way that does feel similar, but also in a sense kind of different. Like there's actual dedicated effects on here that you can stack up to, it says 8, but it's more of like 7 because you can't change the matrix out. So I guess like the first effect is just like baked in, and so you can, this is where like you have specific things that you want to send in, like CV or velocity or bank, MSB, modulation, breath control. So it is an effect, I guess, but it's not an effect. You know what I mean? But on here you've got R-Poly, which you do have a poly mode on there as well, but you've got let me see if you have different styles on this. Up, down, down, up, random, velocity, velocity down, convergence, divergence. Sorry, you all can't see that. I don't know if you can read that screen anyways. Pinky up, pinky down. Yeah, so this has a lot more modes on the arpeggiator than the Oxy 1, I think. It's got the humanize, which this is a nice touch because the arpeggiator has swing on the Oxy 1, but it doesn't have humanize, which they're kind of the same thing. But with this, if you have the humanize on here, hopefully that means that it will be a little bit off. But then you can go into this, go delete, and then you can add swing. So it's kind of weird because like some of the effects, yeah, don't pee on the gear. Some of the effects in here are like not they're just things that exist on the Oxy 1. You know what I mean? So this kind of categorizes as in like, look, this is something that you can add, but swing is an inherent thing that you can already apply. But I guess with this, it gives you a little bit more to work with in certain cases. Sorry, I was going to say the biggest difference between these two is that for one, you can have 2 completely different projects. Whereas on the Oxy 1, you have actually 4 completely independent sequencers that can have their own timing, their own modes, their own scales, whatever.
But with this, you have two separate BPMs. Interestingly, on this, there's no time divisions, which I think is really interesting and really strange. So you have the elasticity on here to which you can stretch, which the Oxy one has, but you can also change the beat divisions on the Oxy one to where you can't do that on this, which is just kind of strange. So basically, like, you can't dictate whether or not the playback speed of this is in a different division of 84 BPM, whereas on the Oxy one, you can. Someone sent you this machine? Yeah, Scorp did. I had a very long talk with them, and they've been kind of sending their unit out to a bunch of people from what I've heard or what I read earlier in the chat, and they were very kind enough to send this out. So where this shines, in my opinion, though, is you see how this has 16 different sequencers on here? Plus the B project. The main thing with this is that this has that completely with multi-MIDI, whereas this technically has 32, the Oxy one technically has 32 sequencers on it, but it has to be in multi-mode, and it's not quite as flexible with how you do that, because that's like, I think that you can change the MIDI on that, if I'm not mistaken. This also has the matristial and stochastic modes. So if we go into this and I type this in here. Sorry. So if I go shift and we go to this, we have mono, stochastic, matricial. If we go into the multi mode on here with the multi-track and you set this up. Yeah, so you can change the notes on this, but it's kind of the same thing, but it's based off of a single line. Sorry. It's based off of a single line, whereas on this, hey, thank you, Riverbend. Everything is a multi-mode on here. And so that kind of makes everything a little bit easier to kind of see visually. Soul Steel. Thank you so much, River. I appreciate it. You do have the chord modes on here. I don't think that this has... Yeah, this doesn't have as many arpeggiator modes. You still have the song mode on here. This has the song mode as well, like I said. But yeah, my biggest like head scratcher is if we go to mono on here and let's say I do this, you can set the division of this into a different timing on here, which is just kind of weird that you can't do that. See how I can expand this or set this to 1/16 or 1/8 or 1/4? You know what I mean? That's just kind of strange that there's no beat division on here. No, stochastic. Which is kind of strange. This does have LFOs on it. Does have CV gates. It does have the step chord on here. Which is kind of cool because if we go into this, we do this here. Oops. We go into the division, then you can, yeah, the navigation of this is probably the hardest thing to work with because this is, and you also can't transpose everything, I don't think, which is kind of strange. Oh, there's so much new stuff on here. Does it have the same kind of note time stretching? Yeah, so this actually has two different modes on here. So if you hit shift and you hit this, you have the time offset, but then if you hit it again, then you have the time bending. Yeah, so that's within, so this exists within both, but the Hapax does not have the division. Sorry, you probably can't see that, but that's why I was like, why doesn't that exist on the Hapax? It's kind of a head scratcher. It's only 1/16 notes on the Hapax. Yeah, I That is a very strange omission. I mean, I guess their logic was that you just, you know what I mean? You just do it that way, or you do it this way. But the thing is like, it would be kind of cool if I can consolidate this, you know what I mean? Or whatever. There is some other algorithmic things in here as well that this doesn't have. So there is the random generate. There is also the shuffle. Oh, this might be it here. Interval 1/4, 1/8. It's doing something. I don't know what it's doing. So let me hit play. So there's still something about this that you can see on this side that it's changing the MIDI place. But it's not. Oh, it's just shuffling the part. Okay. Keys, velocity, length, chance, roll, math. Okay.
She busted open her ball.
Her ball?
She's very strong. Where'd she get this from?
Oh, that was my ball.
She busted it.
That's fine.
Very strong, squeak.
She's showing us that she doesn't like that we're ignoring her.
She doesn't like it.
She doesn't like that we're ignoring her. That's why she's chewing on things. Is
I don't think so.
she's like, you're not giving me enough attention. So this says keys. It's where you can shuffle that. Shuffle the keys. So this is shuffling everything around there. Step, part, interval. You would think that this is what it would be, but this is just randomly rearranging this. Which I think is cool. I really like that you can just rearrange that. This is something that the Oxy 1 doesn't have. But also, is there an arpeggiator on this? No, there's not. All right, let me switch this back into something that's kind of basic. Let's go initialize. Because what's interesting about this is that it doesn't, like, the way that this is playing back. Oh. Okay. I'm very stupid. I'm sorry. Make a sample pack with this. Well, it's all being contributed to the same stuff. Like, so, yeah, it's all kind of there. Let me go into new. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's try that again. So we'll go here. Sure. So if I go. Okay, so we have something here. Go to algo, we go to shuffle. Here's time. So this will flip this. I'm more so just talking about the sequencing things on this. That's what I'm going over. Curve, generate, symmetry, shuffle. Yeah, so there is that, but maybe there's quantize as an effect or something like that. Shaper, scalar, swing, random, chance, filter, ARP, poly, echo, Euclidean, LFO, mono, random, notes, note plus. Okay, what else we got here? The shaper thing is cool. Scalar thing, transpose. So this is cool because you can kind of just like swap the key, I guess. Have that change into something else. Scale, follow. So yeah, you can kind of shape the scale off of that. There is a master scale in here, so you don't have to use this, but I guess it's just kind of nice that you can do it without having to change the global project thing or whatever. So we've got LFO on here. You can add a destination. Effects. Swing. Sync. So that's just a generic swing. Note filter. It's kind of cool. I don't think that the Oxy one has that. I don't think that the Oxy one has a Euclidean sequencer either. There's the R poly. Delete. And then there's just the regular arpeggiator. So I guess if you're just using the arpeggiator, then... Yo, thank you for the follow, Neural Tech Music. You can change the timing of this. Which, I guess if you... Yeah, you still can't change the time of this, though, so that doesn't do what I'm looking for. There's chance. Which is interesting because... I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I was going to say that it's interesting because there's chance, but you also have chance on every individual step. So maybe there's a global chance, but I think there's a global chance on this as well. Maybe not all. Yeah, so there's a global chance that you can just apply to this. So you have recurrences on here, which I don't think that you have on... I don't think that you have on the Oxy one, at least if I'm not mistaken. Do you? No, I don't think so. This has a lot more features that I would say like remind me of Electron workflow stuff, whereas this kind of the Oxy One instrument or the Oxy One kind of does its own thing with just a bunch of different shit. Yeah, I'm still kind of baffled that there's no way to change the beat division of the thing. I'm trying to do similar things by mapping iPad sequencer apps to cheap MIDI controllers while I save a hardware sequencer. They look so much fun. iPad sequencer apps to cheap MIDI controllers. Wait. You're trying to map an iPad sequencer to a cheap MIDI controller? For what wait, what? What are you trying to do here? Is that on the Mark II or is that on the Mark 1? Yeah, I mean the iPad is... So there's a random generator. Random generator. Random perform. There's retrigger percentage on this, which I don't think is on the Hapax. Like it's really like... I feel like comparing the Oxy 1 to the Hapax is like Granny Smith apples versus Gala apples. Yeah, I don't think that the Mark 1 has a Euclidean sequencer. There's a random generator. Just MIDI keyboards controlling apps and AUN. Oh, but you said into MIDI controllers. So I was like, why would you send MIDI into a MIDI controller? I was confused. I'm sorry. Let me see if on the Oxy 2 Euclidean works on all modes except on Oxy 1 Euclidean works on 1 or 2 modes. All right, well, I'm on... Maybe it's on multi-track mode. Yeah, okay, so there is a Euclidean sequencer on multi-track mode. I actually didn't know that. Learn something new every day. So then, yeah, I would say there's more sequencing modes. Well, I guess. I mean, it's weird because, like I said, some of the effects in here and stuff are the way that they're categorized. There's also register mode on here. I have no idea what this does. For sequencing, there is the octachron. I'd recommend patterning for drums. Trying to think about... I've got so much shit for sequencing. Prism is good. Prism looked cool. So what is this? Let's hit play. I don't know what this does. Yeah, I think you're just behind. This is like something that fires off another MIDI note. Yeah, but you have to be in multi-track mode. Right. Mono. So that's where you can add like legato and stuff. That's kind of cool. I don't know if the Oxy one has that or not. Probably does. There's Euclidean mode. There's the harmonic mode. So this is kind of like your and that's kind of something that's cool as well, is that you can just add harmony to this with your original thing. So if you want to create like a chord, then you can do something like that and just... I can see why nobody's really done like a hard comparison of this. That's kind of cool. You can like flip this. So if you flip that 100% or 50%, that's a sick mode. That is a really cool thing. Let me see if this... I'm going to Google this again. Division. Tempo and time divisions. BPM. Time division per track. Quantization settings. How to align to the grid. You can length. Division agnostic. You can add different subdivisions like 16th notes into a sequence that starts with a different main division. It says that this has this. And a quantizer. This is just a pitch quantization. Time signature does not change anything. Sorry, I was getting tired of listening to the same sound. Yeah, I don't really know. Have a good night. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Andrew. I appreciate it. Have you heard of MIDiness? No, I haven't. On iOS, 4Pockets have MIDI stuff, which is good. Bing boing, bing, 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 bing. Yeah, definitely. What Bo said. Sounds like the beginning of a... Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It sounded like... Sounded like Halloween. So yeah, I guess we can get into like trying to change some of this stuff. Uh-oh. This just froze on me. Hey, Alexa, what's up? That'd be sick as a house, 4 to the floor build up to a halftime drop. USB device attached. Okay. Did I lose everything? I did. You know what? I'm actually not too upset that if this freezes or something, then or if I reset this, then I have to get back what I was doing. It's not really that big of a deal, but I like that it pulls up an empty project. I don't know if you can change that on the settings of the Oxy one, but it always makes me remember the last thing. And like, I'm kind of torn on that because on one end it is cool that you can just recall the last thing that you were working on. But I guess that will be fixed in the Mark II version because you can have like infinite projects or whatever, right? There's also a drum mode on here, but like I said, I haven't been able to figure out how to get MIDI into the DAW yet, and that's been kind of a cumbersome thing, but so if we go track 2, is there a way to tell it where to go with, there's this chord mode on here. So you got this. You got different inversions and stuff. Power chord, suspended second, suspended fourth, add 6, add 6 and 9. Kenny Barron, never heard of that before. Bass root. Bass third, bass fifth, bass seventh. Auto inversion on. Rotate. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Spread up and down. Wider, enter down. Chordal voicing. Spread down, down, spread up, plus plus. Transpose +4. +5, +7. Octave. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it has all of those. I would call it, well, I don't know if it, yeah, it does have strum mode. I don't know how to access it. So that's definitely on there. It's not hella classical as you scroll through. There is the echo, which this is the effect to where like you can kind of run that through. So you can kind of drop it like that. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. You can change the notes on here, kind of like so, to where it repeats. You can also turn the sync off. And then you can add an LFO to it if you want. I think you can, because you can set notes up and down. Okay. Oops. There's a gate curve on there. Yeah, so if you were to set this to be a little bit shorter on this, pull off of the release and the sustain. I'm not sure, but I think that if we hit second and LFO, oh, that's just where we control the LFO. So if we go into matrix here, LFO A, we can set a destination on here to where we go effects, echo, and then we can go to the rate %. And then we can set this to be polarity. Then we can change the LFO here to a ramp. So maybe let's make that like really slow. So that only works on retrigger, so it doesn't do it real time, which is, that's all right, but it's just something to be aware of. But yeah, you can do that. It would be cool if that was in real time. But I can see why it's not, so it's not that big of a deal. Even still, that's kind of cool that you can do that. What was the other thing you asked about? Pitch bin the echo. Yeah, I think that you can just set a pitch bin on here. So there's a thing in this called automation. And this is another probably like strong feature of the Hapax. So you can go add, you can go pitch bend. And then within this, you can actually like look here, you can actually draw in pitch bending with this. So if you go like that and then you hit a note, you can also set the interpolation to be off. That's kind of silly. But yeah, I don't know how many of these that you can throw in there, but clear events. Yeah, but that's something that you can do as well. You can also take a snapshot of a thing. So I think like if we have an event on here, let's say we do that, you can go snapshot and now that's green. So let's say I make a change. I think this is the way this works. Yeah, and then you can go snapshot so you can refer back to whatever it is that you just did. Which you cannot see that, but I can move. Maybe I should do that so that we can actually see what I'm doing. So yeah, if I we go like this, you see how this is red now? Just hit green, and you can go back to the snapshot. That's pretty convenient. But like from a day-to-day use and a practicality sense of like coming into stuff, I do find that these two sequencers are a lot more similar than they are different. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the master or the generate, because this is a random generator, right? There's a thing on here that says mono for one, and I'm not sure what that means. There's also no secondary algo. Yeah, it just goes here. And sometimes when you generate this, I don't know if it's a bug or not, but it'll just like shut the thing off. So length 1/4. Like, what does this mean? Let's do 4. Yeah, so the density factor on this is kind of what I'm the most confused about. Does it? I thought density just means amount like of notes that it inputs. Yeah, this is the amount of notes. Now, I know that there's a second function down here, because at the bottom this says 1/2 40 mono and C4, right? But if you hold second, it doesn't change the encoder on that. So that does something. Flat 0. That's funny. So that increase or decrease that by 10%. Happens if I hold mute or something. Algo. Nope. If I hold stop. What if I hold... Nope. Does nothing. See, there's this thing here that says 16, or on 16, these two are flashing together. And I'm curious as to why. Yeah, well, it's the amount of how much this fills this up. Ah. There you go. If you push the encoder... Yeah, if you push the encoder, then you can set the velocity range on this. There you go. Okay, so if I were to push this one... poly 2 now. You see that? Now it says that that's how we get to the other ones there, which is interesting. And then we don't see anything here because there's the view. So this is the scroller for the piano roll like this. And that's how we figure out how this works. Okay. Sorry, I didn't care to change it just because it doesn't really show anything. Okay, so this is the length of the steps. Got it. Okay, so this is why this is confusing to me, because this... Oh, is this on track 16? Well, that's weird. It seems like it was still changing stuff. Am I crazy? Yeah, it seemed like it was still changing things, but... What? Oh, so this will create a chord. Okay. I see. Now I'm starting to understand how this works. Okay. Okay. So I think if I set this to be as low as possible, like let's say C1, and then I set this is the range. Yeah, that's what this is the range. Because I was like, why am I getting everything in the same octave? That's pretty dope. Yeah, one thing I still need to do is you are my density. I still need to make drums in here and do some other stuff, but yeah, so far it's been pretty cool just to kind of see what all this can do. And the other thing is I haven't inserted the Zoya yet, but yeah, I kind of wish that within this there was the division, because I would like this to have like just kind of move at a slower pace, I guess, which we can change the BPM on this. But I did think that this was, is this set to 85? And now also, if I change this, okay, yeah, so it is still synced, but here we go. Yeah, if this is synced, then that would mean that you can only make this go down to 1/8 with the elasticity, right? So you can only set that to 50%. Oh no, why is that a thing? I guess it's not the end of the world, but it would have been cool to just kind of have the divisions to where you can bump them closer together. But that's kind of the big thing with this, is the resolution of the steps, I think, is an important factor within that. And that's something that I think is really important when it comes into making the kind of stuff that I like, because micro timing is everything. And this has micro timing, but the timing divisions are only based off of like double percentages, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't know if there is a, I don't know if there's a way to not have that. But you see how this is jumping by 2%? It's kind of strange. I will say that like transposing stuff to different keys and all that is a lot easier to work with within the Hapax, whereas in the Oxy one, you kind of have to go through a couple of menus in order to transition into like move the piano roll. I think you have to go into divisions and then scroll up, whereas with this, it's like you have a visual of where this is, and then you can change the key, you can change the octave here, you can change the note length there. Whereas actually, if I do this, yeah, you can kind of just extend the note length like that if you want to. It's not that big of a deal because both of these have the same feature where if you do this, then it'll hold the note as long as you want it to. So that's pretty similar. Did anybody have any questions about anything regarding these two? It's kind of unfortunate because, like, at least from where I'm at now, I guess it's not unfortunate because, like, if you're in the market for one of these, and when I say one of these, I mean the Oxy one or the Hapax, like, you can't really go wrong, but you kind of have to, like, put hands on both in order to figure out which one is going to be right for you, you know? And I'm still undecided about which one I like better because I've only had one day with this. And that's kind of important to remember. But yeah. I thought that I saw a thing here where if on step mode you do this. Yeah, so you can move everything. So would this be the equivalent of slowing this down? And speeding this up? That's pretty cool. Okay, so here's your division here. But yeah, there's no way to change this based off of like a grid, an actual grid. It's just push it late or push it early. Or rather stretch it. But I mean, if you do this enough times, you can, you know, make this push out as much as you want. Also, there's micro timing on here. Wait, what? It's by like 20. Well, I was trying to see if you can hold the encoder, but if you do this, there's this micro timing on here. Which is kind of strange. Okay, so what I've learned is that no matter what, this plays at pretty much a 1/16th resolution. but you can move the notes more so with the micro timing on how to get those, pushing stuff late or early. And there's still like no way to be like, I want the timeline to play this fast outside of the actual BPM. So I think that it's just like a philosophy thing with how they do stuff, which I think is kind of backwards. That being said, the fact that you can nudge everything in that way and actually make it part of the and actually make it fit within the bar of a sequence is actually a big difference behind what the Oxy 1 does, because when you bend the time on the Oxy 1, you can reset it to where it triggers on a bar or where it re-triggers or whatever. But this still confines everything to without changing the length of the sequence itself. So you're changing the length and the positioning of the steps, but not the actual length of the sequence. I think that I probably prefer that, but it's so minuscule, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff is so like small compared to like big feature differences and all that. I'm really surprised at how similar these two are. They're literally like older brother. Oxy 1 is younger brother. Or wait, when did the Oxy 1 Mark 1 come out? Oh, so the Oxy 1 is actually older than the Hapax, because I think Hapax came out in 2022. June 2022. Yeah, so I say that this is still this is the younger, bigger brother. This is the smaller, older brother. Like Mario and Luigi. Yeah, it's gonna take some time, but pretty soon I'll get up and going with how I want everything to be, and kind of on the mark with that, and then also getting everything set up for. Oh, excuse me. Getting everything set up through the pedals is gonna be pretty dope. I think the major thing is that I have to get the Bitwig Connect replaced. Well, I suppose I don't, but actually, yeah, I do, because I'm going to need a third input. Or wait, no. You have an output that goes to the Zoya, that goes to there. Yeah, I guess I don't. But it would be a lot more convenient for sure. The 1/4 inch on the back of the Bitway Connect is faulty. And so every time I plug something into it, it just goes like and just doesn't do anything. So unfortunately, I have to get my Connect replaced. But other than that, oh, sorry, I'm shaking the table by shaking my feet. Yeah, pretty cool. Well, I think that today was an interesting experiment. I don't really have anything else that I want to do. Actually, what I probably will do is when I hop off of here, I'm going to figure out how to get the Hapax to work with the DAW and get this to send MIDI messages, because as of now, I have not figured that out. But yeah, thanks everybody. I had a great time. am building a pack of everything that I've been recording the past few months, both between the Digitone and the Iridium and the Microcosm and the Zoya and all that. And yeah, just kind of having a field day. But I definitely want to figure out this a little bit more, figure out how to get some more interesting sounds out of it and whatnot. Figure out some stuff that I want to make. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, appreciate you all. Thanks so much. If y'all could like the video, I'd appreciate that too. Also, if you are an Ableton person and you've been thinking about switching to Bitwig, let me know in the comment section, not here in the chat, but in the comment section of videos that you want to see of like how to convert, because I started a new series on that. I am going to have a review on every single one of these devices that you see. Trying to think if there's anything else that I need to tell you all about. Yeah, and when this pack is ready, it's probably going to be like maybe not free, but maybe super cheap because everything is pitched, and because it's all pitched, I don't think that what's it called? I don't know how to find the key even with Sononym, and I don't want to go through all of that. I just don't think that it's worth it. So I don't know. But the pack itself will be cool. There'll be lots of cool textures in there. But anyways, thanks everybody. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you all on Monday. Oh, actually, sorry, one more thing before you all leave. For everyone that's using the Bitwig 6 beta, what changes did they make that you do not like? Let me know also in the comments or in the Discord, because I'm going to compile a thing of stuff that I'm going to talk about my thoughts first, but if there's anything that I'm like, yeah, they should probably revert that, then I'd like to know. There's two. One is the latch with the automation. The other one is you don't have access to the finer resolution of the beat grid now, which kind of stinks. You can do it if you zoom in, but there's not a way to, yeah, so you can do it if you zoom in, which is cool, but there's not a way to set this to just a set beat division thing that some people like. And I'm like, you know what? I agree with that. They've also done away with the lighter grid, the lighter timeline completely. And I do think that there should be an option to maintain that. But I think that's pretty much it. I personally would like the ins and outs to be back on the side. I'd like them to bring the rainbow knobs back. And then I already mentioned the latch automation. Oh, one more major thing. And I don't know if this is on the beta or not, and maybe I should wait for the beta too. But you have to click and then hold option, as opposed to just being able to option click. Oh, wait, that works. Wait, what? Oh, if it's within this, and I don't know if this is, I'd have to go back to Bitwig 5 and see if this works or not, but if I do this, you have to click first and then hold option. But let me see if I have to do that in beta 5. Or sorry, in Bitwig 5. So if I just want this and I go like that. Yeah, okay, so I can just hold option and then this will automatically move. So that's a big thing that that is not available now, that I'm like, hey, hey, this needs to be a thing. Was there anything else that bothered you all about the new changes? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section or in the Discord, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, everybody.